Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another day of the Lilicrow Tournament here. I do believe this is one of our last matchups here, and it will be between LE versus PX today. So, yeah, looking very forward to seeing how these um, players, what they have to offer on the table here. And, yeah, it will start soon. They do have their map bans and picks in already. So we have the Lakeside ban and a church pick from PX here. And Ellie's Hunter will be going first as well. Yeah, picks and bans coming shortly. Ellie's Hunter here will be banning two survivors. So very interested in seeing what they may ban. May go for the normal, Merc, Seer, Priestess, all your casual survivors who are undoubtedly one of the strongest in the game, but yeah, we may see more targeted ban here as well. And yet, the Hunter deciding to ban Priestess and Seer. Again, as previously said, those two survivors are very strong. Priestess, just her portal support is amazing, especially on Red Church. And just Seer is a great survivor overall. And now PX will have the chance to lock in two survivors. And the reminder is that these two survivors that they do decide to pick are the ones globally banned across all matches. So they may have to go with some throwaway picks possibly, or they're gonna take the risk of getting that global ban. DX is taking their time deciding who to lock in. And yeah, their global bans that they have decided to go with is Merc and Patient. So they will be cutting off that Merc from being used and also be cutting off Patient, who is a very strong survivor as well. Um, yeah, Patient on Red Church. He does have the ability to hook through those church windows in the middle, but other than that, he's just plain Jane kiting usually. Okay, interesting picks there. Merc, of course, one of the best rescuers in this game. But yeah, Ellie banning one survivor here, and that is the barmaid. Interesting, very interesting band there. Usually you see barmaid bands when you're playing a hermit or anything of the sort. But interested to see barmaid get banned here, considering that we do have the chance of getting an opera first round. And yeah, PX coming here with a dancer pick. Red Church, one of Dancer's strongest maps to play on, has many areas where she can just place down her slow box and just support her survivors in the best way as well. Especially with that middle areas, with those two pallets, you throw it on the pallets, survivors vault it, or they use the slow box to get to the window and continue their kite from there. Dancer, a strong pick. And Hunter of Ellie banning Psychologist as well. Does seem very orientated around a hermit, possibly. Barmaid and Psychologist, two of Hermit's biggest weaknesses, along with many other survivors, like the Priestess and Seer. But eh, I'm very intrigued to see what this Hunter might decide to play. EX here, selecting their final survivor, and they do go for the lawyer. I did not expect that, but yeah, lawyer is ultimately a really good survivor to choose as well. Does not have that support ability or anything to support his survivors really, but mm, his kiting ability is just really good. You have his decoding boost, his window boost, and his speed boost. So interesting to see the lawyer fit into this comp here. We have a relatively safe comp running that Merc and Patient. They could possibly go for the double tide on Patient as well. And Dan's just a strong survivor around that middle area. So it is interesting to see this lawyer be selected here. Yeah, it will come down to locking personas now. And we do have our personas coming in for the survivors here. Laura carrying that broken windows and borrowed time. Broken windows, arguably one of the probably best traits you can carry on lawyer, since he does benefit from that boost on both pallets and windows. And yeah, other traits here for the survivors are Dancer carrying flywheel, and yeah, Merc carrying that tide. Patient also deciding to go for the flywheel instead of the tide here. Yeah, we do get that hermit pick from the hunter here. Very expected. Banning the barmaid and psychologist who are just very good against hermit. Yeah, hermit on red church against these four survivors here. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this turns out. You have many survivors who don't decode as fast as your normal match would. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see how PX does decide to play out against this hermit. taking a little bit, but our match does look like it is going to start soon. Just waiting on Ellie's Hunter here. Hmm. Yep, and it does look like our match will be getting to start soonly. Now into our map spawns here. Your normal map spawn, of course, spawning that dancer in middle, where her box support is arguably some of the strongest there. Lawyer spawning shack, able to use that window and just preferably get to middle, I think. And then you got Merc spawning between the walls area, and of course, patient going near that graveyard. But yeah, I do think PX might just go for rotating all around middle here. getting the survivors towards middle, so that might happen, or we may see a different style of play for these PX survivors. Yeah, again, I am your own commentator for today, and my name is Angzy. Go by any pronouns, so feel free to call me whatever you want. And yeah, we're starting our match off here by the Hermit finding that patient and going towards him. This is interesting. Yeah, he will decide to connect those survivors, ciphers. And yeah, he changes off actually. Dancer has already set up the 2 boxes here. And Hermit, yeah, as he should, taking down these boxes relatively early. You don't want the survivors to use them here. And yeah, although he has not found a survivor yet, Cypher progress hasn't gone to much. He is on the Merc currently, though. And these survivors all have a charge already as well. This is very good for the Hermit, not having to expend a charge. And he does get that charge off and a hit on the Merc. There goes... Oh, and there's a teleport. He teleports onto that Dancer immediately. And Dancer has no more boxes left to use as well, placing her only fast box here, or her only box left. And now he must expend a charge to get that Dancer, but yeah, he will end up using the teleport orb here, and the Dancer will end up taking that hit there. And a really good start for the Hermit here. As a Hermit, you do want to try to get as much damage and a fast down possible. So he will end up putting a red charge on the Survivor. Nice flywheel from the Dancer here. Getting back to that pallet and using it, extending the kite. Dancer in a really good area for Hermit, I would say. Unfortunately, she does end up running into that Hermit. Bit of a misstep here from the Dancer. And she does only have this pallet to work with. So she does take that blue charge. Looks like none of these survivors will be taking a charge. Yeah, they are healing that lawyer. I'm seeing this is a good Unfortunately, Dancer probably tried to go for the pallet stun, but that charge just stopped her from doing so. And now the ciphers have decent progress, but Hermit is also full presence here. So gonna be interesting to see how this Merc rescues against this full presence Hermit. It would be even better if he possibly cut off the Merc. Yeah, Merc will make it to the chair safely. No charge as well. So Hermit does have to expend a charge here. And yeah. Okay. Good rescue by the Merc, but unfortunately Dancer does get hit by that follow-up hit. So this is another quick down. And Hermit really just controlling these ciphers as well, as you can see. Warrior is forced to have to possibly go to the cipher right next to where Dancer will die. And yeah, Laura gets spotted. We may see a hit here for the survivors. Yeah, Hermit gets that hit off. Impatient is also now one hit as well. So these survivors will be forced to heal up that patient. And this Hermit's doing a really good job controlling the game from here. Getting that hit on the Merc and then teleporting onto the Dancer. A great move made here by the Hermit. So these PX survivors, their situation is not doing that well. Lawyer taking another hit and Hermit going back to the chair, but yeah, no one will be going in for rescue. They know it's just too dangerous. So Dancer will be sold here. And now it's all up to this Hermit to see if he can find another survivor to chase. And he does see that patient in the middle who is a very small sliver away just from getting hit. And Hermit breaking the second box here. So will be no more supports. And he does end up teleporting onto the Merc. Overpads back to Graveyard, but there is no pallets for the Merc to use here. So you may see a relatively fast hit. Merc taking that hit, and Laura going down as well. Lawyer had that charge. So, unfortunate for these survivors here, but Hermit doing a absolutely beast of a job. Yeah, and Patient does need that Cypher to switch. So, really, if I was the Hermit here, I would have probably disconnected the Cypher. But, yeah, Lawyer does end up getting healed by that Patient. No, they will hopefully be healing up instead of trying to rush these Cyphers. Hermit connecting, reconnecting the Cyphers. Not much he can do with these charges as of now. We do see the Lawyer and Patient healing across the map. So yeah, gonna be a drawn out game, but Hermit doing a really good job, honestly. Don't think the survivors expected the Hermit pick. Hermit here on the Patient. Um, Patient might be use that hook to get away, gain some distance. Really good hook here, but Patient, yeah, not much he can do in this situation. He tries to fly with the charge, but ends up missing it, and the charge is pulling him back, which is the unfortunate thing about Hermit. But Lawyer will end up getting the rescue off. No hit on the Merc. And yeah, again, this is really good for the Hermit. And oh, unfortunately teleports into that pallet, and the Merc will be extending a kite here, using that elbow pad to get back to middle. Um, Unfortunate play there by the Hermit teleporting, but just teleporting a tad bit too far. Does not end up seeing the Merc, who loops back through the window. And now this is an extremely extended kite. Survivors have turned it around a little, and Merc will still be alive. Those survivors all touching that cipher. Lawyer doing good. Lawyer pops a cipher, and now this is a one prime cipher. So Merc here, as long as Merc can stay alive long enough, they should be able to possibly get a tie out of the situation. And Merc does get hit, but the cipher will be popped. Yeah, good job by the survivors here. Great comeback. Um, Hermit just not being able to down that survivor ever since that pallet stun. And Merc does have the dungeon available here as long with the pallet. So he just needs to get this Merc down, hopefully. And unfortunately, yeah, they will all switch, sharing damage. And this could be a possible 3-man by the survivors. PX making a great comeback on that female dancer death. Will these survivors be able to get out in time? They are! And this Hermit unfortunately gets 3-manned. Great job by the PX survivors here. Ending up in a really bad situation after that dancer ended up getting eliminated at such an early stage in the game, especially against a Hermit. But Hermit was just not able to follow up on that situation after. And unfortunately, making too many missteps, probably panicking. But Mark doing a really good job at the end there with the pallet stun. And especially the game changer, I think, of that match was definitely looping back through that window. And Hermit ended up confusing himself and getting lost. So yeah, great job by the mercenary here, ultimately clutching it for the PX survivors. PX doing great in this first half of the match. Yeah, score as of now is 1-3. So Pixis gaining that lead, and these LE survivors will be looking for a possible comeback here and points. Yeah, PX will be banning two survivors. Priestess and Steering, yeah, same ban as the Hermit. Again, Priestess and Seer, some strong survivors. So, of course, they will be receiving a ban here. And at least two global picks will be Embalmer and Cord, who will end up being banned for the rest of their matchup. Two. Embalmer and Cord, again, those two survivors are quite strong in their own ways. Cord has that gun to work with, an Embalmer the Coffin, able to just carry a survivor across the map. Yeah. PX, you're going for the ban on Dancer. Again, Dancer, a strong survivor, especially on Red Church. As you saw with that middle support, Hermit being forced to break those boxes for the hope of not getting interfered with later on in the map, or match, I should say. Yeah, there goes the Dancer ban. And Ellie will be going for an antiquarian pick. Um, Ellie here going for quite an aggressive comp. Do have that safe Embalmer to play, but they are going for Cord and Anti. So it's interesting to see where they might go with this. PX Hunter deciding to ban Lawyer. Um, and those look like they are going for the bans that they did end up picking last round or last match. So see a little bit of a vice versa here from the Hunter. And Ellie going for a Gravekeeper pick. Interesting pick there. Going for a Gravekeeper lock instead of one of the stronger rescuers like First Officer and Mercenary. But yeah, that will be at least Survivor lineup. Embalmer, Coordinator, Anti, and Gravekeeper. And I'm trying to look for this Hunter's traits, or the Survivor traits, I should say. Can't seem to. Cannot, and can't really find at least survivors in their personas, but yeah, Pixis Hunter will be carrying Trump in detention. Yep, there we go. Their Hunter locking in the opera singer. Again, like yesterday, one of the strongest hunters you could play in a tournament. With her dashing ability, she's able to get across the map, uh, follow up on a hit on Survivor, do everything relatively fastly. Opera singer, a great hunter to pick, especially with no bans here. And I am looking forward to see how this opera does end up doing on Red Church of all maps. Hopefully not getting stuck on any objects. Match will be starting here shortly. Yeah, very excited and looking forward to seeing how this Opera plays against this team. We do have our spawns coming in here. The survivor is going for a different spawn than our last survivors. But yeah, Embalmer spawning at Shack, Ford going for middle, Anti sitting at around graveyard, and Gravekeeper spawning at that carpet or wedding, whatever you may refer to the area as. Interesting to see how the survivors are gonna play against Opera. We're starting off the match here. Opera, who did decide to spawn at Shack Gate, will be going after the Embalmer. Yeah, Embalmer already setting up that coffin at Shack and rotating into that middle area. Again, running into the cord does have the gun to use, and we may see a possible switch here. Yeah, the Opera Singer will decide to switch on to the cord instead, who does end up throwing down this pallet and forces the gun out early. Good job by the Opera here, forcing out that gun so cord does not take a hit. So that is no more gun for the cord to work with, and oh, possible hit there maybe, but oh, and a questionable decision there by the cord, who did end up throwing down that pallet, and then vaulted it right after, getting a terror shock right before Blink was even up. Mhm. Very interesting to see that Survivor do that. It would have made sense if maybe you just threw down the pallet and you ran with it, maybe playing a little mind game on the... And a Blink here! Fabulous Blink onto this Gravekeeper to cut off that rescue. And now Gravekeeper is forced to go into that shovel. And also gets hit out of it, so that is one shovel for the Gravekeeper. And now things are looking really troublesome for LE here. Getting an early terror shock, especially on a cord with no gun. And not much to work with here. Fortunately, there is no more Blink to follow up on this rescue after. So we do have the anti coming in, who also will most likely be harassing. And yeah, it does get hit, but anti does have to keep that cord alive for now. Unless she will end up just transitioning away. The cord does go down. No, yeah, Andy's coming back to come try to harass. But it's not gonna turn out well. Yeah, cord ending up on that chair. And it was also after half rescue, so that is the elimination of cord. 4 ciphers left for these survivors in a situation where they are not doing the best. And they have a Gravekeeper who is hit, so he needs to be healed up for rescue. And they also have an Embalmer who can be questionable, but we do see that Embalmer carrying Tide. And Anti here, just doing a great job at avoiding this. And yeah, gets a pallet stun. Good job on the Anti here. Um, being patient with that pallet, really using her patience up on that clerk. Playing around with that pallet well. And clerk he or not clerk. Whoa, I saw Keegan on their name and I was getting confused. Great flywheel by the Anti as well. Um, it is an Opera. Unfortunately, misses the stick there. Opera's dash is just too fast for them. And it is another chair. And we also see Gravekeeper getting healed up to come in for the rescue as well. So we may see a possible stuff on the rescue again, or the Gravekeeper may be able to make it safely. Opera does get that vision of the dungeon. Yep, Gravekeeper here in the rescue in that shovel already. And Opera's just gonna wait this out, honestly. Doesn't have much to worry about. Has an Embalmer. He was working on one cipher only. And yeah, makes us rescue safely, but unfortunately, Grave Reaper does end up getting hit here. We may see a possible double down for the survivors. So honestly, this Opera's doing really good at just doing her job, downing survivors as fast as she can. And Auntie gets hit over that jump. Unfortunate jump by the Auntie, but Opera Singer just doing a really, really good job um fighting against these survivors. And now they are forced to heal up again. No Cypher being well, Patient did finish, or not Patient, Embalmer did end up finishing the Cypher. But we may see Embalmer come in for the rescue here. And gets hit. Will he get caught off at the chair? No, there is no more shadow to teleport to. So fortunate for the survivor. But Auntie just getting farmed off of chair immediately. Which is the big downside to Clerk. You do, if, or I keep saying Clerk. Keegan is very confusing, by the way. Um, which is the downside to Opera. If you do get hit pretty far away from chair, you do risk the chance of farming that survivor or not even making the rescue at all. But this is the early elimination, or not early. This is the elimination of Andy here. And yeah, the survivors not doing too well for the situation they're in. They are both hiding, but unfortunately hiding in the same spot, healing up. This Opera may see them. Yeah, they end up seeing the blood trails around the corner. And Gravekeeper, who gets in that shovel to prevent a hit. Fortunately, the Embalmer does end up getting hit instead, who has a coffin to work with. So now she's just gonna catch up with these Gravekeepers, whose shovel unfortunately runs out. And yeah, Gravekeeper gets down, does not have self-heal either. So we may just see a slug game. And yeah, Opera deciding to go for the slug. He does know that Embalmer got rebirth, so it is quite a direct reveal as to Embalmer's location. Now she's taking her time around here. Doesn't have too much to worry about except for the survivor rotating back and getting a heal off. But she knows she's not getting any tinnitus, so yeah, very strong 4K here. Opera singer, as we do see a switch to Reavers instead, and yeah, Embalmer can't really do much in that situation. And yeah, we're gonna see Opera go back, hopefully find the Gravekeeper. Going back to where that Gravekeeper died. Fortunately, Gravekeeper has crawled away. And yeah, these survivors really looking for at least a one-man escape, but Opera does not want to give that up to them. And yeah, Gravekeeper trying to make his way towards this dungeon. Oh, messed up dash by the Opera. Really unfortunate, but she doesn't have much to worry about at this point in the game. And yeah, Cypher progress. No Cypher touched at all either. So they're really just stalling out the game here. And now, if I was the Opera, I'd probably go towards the dungeon. She did end up seeing that dungeon earlier in the game, chasing that cord, I believe. But I think that was last match. I mean, my match is confused. Being commentator's not easy, guys. Joke. But yeah, Opera just stalling out the game. And taking her time looking for these survivors. And now she does only have one area left to check, so hopefully she can maybe find these survivors near graveyard. Looting the middle area again. And Bomber may be able to get dungeon actually. Gravekeeper, who is looking like he will end up going past his healing mark soon, or expiring. And Balmer does have that self-heal available and uses it, and now they will end up getting both of the survivors back up, but honestly, if I were the survivors, I would just keep that Gravekeeper dead on chair, knowing that they now have the ability to give tinnitus, and Balmer will be getting healed. Nice pal stun by the Gravekeeper, who is one hit, but yeah, Opera definitely not looking for the Gravekeeper to chase. Yeah, getting a good hit on the Embalmer through the pallet there. You have Gravekeeper who does end up getting hit through that chest, and now she has just a little bit of time left before this Embalmer has a chance of getting dungeon. Will she be able to get this down before Gravekeeper dies? And yeah, she does end up getting that down. So this is a 4K elimination on PX's Hunter side. Great job done by PX here in round 1. I do believe it is now a 7-point lead to score 8-1. Hopefully, I'm not wrong. I cannot math. But yeah, well done by PX here. Ellie, unfortunately, not performing at their best, I think, during the Opera match. So yeah, we're gonna have to see a big comeback from these, or not from these, but from the LE team in general. I don't think there is much to say. That Opera just, doing really well at what she's able to do. Get her quick downs, get her quick eliminations. But I do think the biggest part of that match was just ultimately Cord getting a tear shock at that questionable palette area. So not much to say for these survivors. Now PX will be on the side here of banning a map, and they do go for the hospital ban. Hospital, a really good map for hunters, actually. Believe it or not. Um, Ripper just giving Ripper a shout out here. Ripper definitely a threat on Sacred. When I was a Ripper main, I always loved getting Sacred. There's so much stuff you can just foggy blade through. So it's really fun playing Ripper on Sacred. But LE deciding to pick Leo's here. Very interesting map pick. We do see Leo's getting chosen more as of recently. Yeah, it will be very interesting to see um which either side decides to play, honestly. And PX's Hunter will be going up first. Again, they did a really magnificent job at Opera that match. Not the smoothest dashes, but the dashes did end up getting the job done, which is really what matters. As long as your dashes are sufficient and they're fast enough to the point where you can catch up to a survivor and get a quick down. Um, have we have a survivor in chat going anxiety meow. No, thank you. But Yeah, very interesting comment there. And we do have a substitution on PX's side. They are subbing in, I believe, double for Cecilia? Yes, just had to double check. And some very colorful language in the chat by Survivor. I think we should get the Survivor band, actually. Pretty toxic, man. All jokes aside, though. Mm, it does actually look like a double sub instead. Devil going to the hunter position and CC, their previous hunter, playing Survivor now, I believe. We'll check to see if Ellie would like to sub out any people as well. Yeah, and there will be no substitutions for Ellie. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing um their Survivor Devil go on to play Hunter for them this round. So we are getting into the picks and bans shortly with PX starting off banning 2 survivors. And as far as I know, do think that yeah, LE's global bans are Embalmer and Coordinator. So they do have the rest of the strong survivors open for them. Um Priestess, Seer, Merc, First Officer, those kinds of characters out on the field to play. And we have the Hunter here banning Priestess, who is one of the most annoying survivors to deal with if you are a hunter. And interesting enough, going for a toy merchant ban, who does have quite strong catapults on Leo's memory, have the stairs to work with, which you just catapult the survivor off of the stairs into a new area, or you just catapult them into factory. Could work either way, vice versa. Yeah, and obviously we will see L he or LE here go for an opera ban. Again, Opera, the strongest hunter in this game besides Ivy, who is not in competitive yet, thankfully. But yeah, it's gonna be curious as to what these survivors choose to lock in here. And yeah, these will be the global bans as well. So they do decide to lock in Mercenary and Prospector. Um, Mercenary, the strongest rescuer, arguably. And just Prospector is you haven't seen him get used much since last Koa. He did receive that nerf a long while back where he has cooldowns on his magnets now and these regen slower. So he's not much of a harasser anymore, more of just a support on the side now. But it is very interesting to see them go into that Prospector pay. Pay? Play. Can't speak English today. PX banning one survivor, and that will be the patient. Um, Right, interesting. Does look like their hunter here is going for bands around survivors that can make into factory easily, so we may see a hunter here who does not deal that good with factory, but I don't know. All cards are on the table as of now. They have anybody to choose from. And Ellie going for a pick here onto the entomologist. Very solid lineup currently. Has that prospector and entomologist who are very good supports in their own ways. Again, and you just have the Merc there. One of the best rescuers, undoubtedly. And the hunter going for a dancer ban. So yeah, it definitely seems like they are going for survivors who can help survivors rotate into factory quite easily, or they're very strong on support with factory. So Ellie will be going for a psychologist pick here. Um, Interesting. This is very interesting comp to play. They did have the Merc and the Prospector and the Ento out there, and now they're just adding on psychologist, a person who can take many hits and heal the team. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. I'm very curious as to which hunter this player decides to pick here. Because he did end up banning Toy Merchant, Patient, Dancer, and just Priestess, who is very strong with her portals. And we see a wheel lock in here. I did not expect that, honestly. Doesn't make sense though. You can, as long as you get into that factory area with a wheel, he will, he has to be forced to change it off you because wheel does struggle within like the confinements of factory unless you go up those stairs, but you have the drop down route as well. So it is very interesting seeing this hunter pick the wheel to play, especially on a map like Leo's where you have many things to crash into or to get stopped by. So we're gonna have to see this wheel play at his top performance, hopefully. And the devil their hunter here, locking in confined in detention. Again, confined. Good trait to carry on Breaking Wheel, who does struggle with those windows. And, yeah, we are starting our match here very shortly. PX currently with a 7-point lead, so they may be able to keep this up that match, or that not that match, but this match, or LE may make their comeback within this match as well. Very tough to say which way this might go between the survivors. So, of course, good luck to both teams, and may the best win. And I do think this is quite a good comp to play against Wheel, honestly. You have the psychologist who can heal other survivors, but she is kind of stuck in a predicament if she does or if she does end up getting first chase. Because as most people know, you cannot tank a wheel hit with psychologist. But yeah, Ento works well against wheel. And Norton not the best against wheel, but you can't push him away when he gets out of his wheel form. So it's gonna be very exciting to see this hunter play wheel against this comp. And again, they're going for a very common spawn. Spawning at Enterman's factory, surprisingly enough. Would have thought they spawned psychologists and factory, because usually you don't want Psychologist to get first chase. But we may see a possible chase onto the Merc. Breaking Wheel does not really struggle with the Merc as much, except for those elbow pads. But Breaking Wheel just catches up. And now we're starting this match off. The Norton in basement, surprisingly enough, probably hiding away from that wheel. And yeah, he goes past that middle trying to find the Merc, who ends up going towards factory. And now we just have the Psychologist sitting in this corner of the map here. He does see that blood trail, ends up following it the wrong way. And yeah, we see those obstacles getting in the way of Breaking Wheel yet again. As before, Breaking Wheel not great at navigating on Leo's memory, having all these objects to deal with here. He does have that. Unfortunately, Psychologist ends up getting stuck in this corner, and that is a down. Yeah, good job on Devil here. Getting that Survivor stuck in the corner was honestly a great play. Again, with Psychologist first chase, not a great start, honestly, because, she can't take that hit, and now she's stuck on chair at 5 ciphers. Norton getting spiked here early, so he probably has to be careful coming in for rescue. And now, although we do see a abnormal on this Hunter, actually. Did think he had Blink, but yeah. And now this is just another down to add on to Devil's tally of eliminations here. Prospector being forced to use that. Yep. Prospector being forced to use that self-heal here. And Merc does end up getting that rescue off, but Psychologist can't do much with Tide here. He does have that snap available. Yep, he just snaps the Survivor. And this will be Psychologist's, I think, elimination, because Merc did not make it before half. So honestly, a great job doing, Jesus. Just a great job at the Breaking Wheel here, honestly. I'm just very shocked and surprised, clearly. Again, I do think they would have been better off spawning the Psychologist. And yep, we see the abnormal being used here. Bringing that cipher down to, like, what? Yeah, back to almost starting point. They are healing in the corner, but Devil does not end up getting tinnitus. They will be going on to the Endo here, who is usually good against Wheel, but unfortunately does not get the B body block through. And now we'll be transitioning into Factory, so yeah, of course, Devil has to switch here because you just can't deal with a Endo in Factory, nor anyone in Factory as a Wheel, honestly. And yeah, finds the Merc here. I think a good Survivor to chase here. He does not have any elbow pads either, actually. Don't know what happened. He may have used all his elbow pads to get to the chair before half and didn't make it, but yeah. Ooh, nice trap there by Devil. Merc unfortunately just stepping, I think, maybe a few pixels into it. So Merc will be going on chair, and they are at 4 ciphers. 3 now. Ento just finished her cipher. And we will see that Devil goes into this wheel form. Of course, trying to spike the survivors before they get there. He knows that Norton is here. Good usage of knowing that that cipher was being decoded. And as soon as it stopped shaking, he knew Norton was coming in from somewhere to rescue. And yeah, that's another down on the Prospector. He does have self-heal since Merc healed him. But Devil's just doing a really good job at managing these survivors, honestly. Yeah, he does have the free time to just go through here. He hits that tree, unfortunately. So his movement will be hindered a little bit. Yeah, all he has to really do now is just camp this Prospector. And this is looking like a 4K elimination for a Breaking Wheel. Throwing down the pallet, even though it is a Breaking Wheel, so he will just end up going through there. Does have snap to use. Will he use it? Yep, uses a snap. And we'll be sharing that Ento. I was gonna say. Probably shouldn't leave Ento on the floor. Then again, oh, interesting. You won't see them heal up, actually. They will be splitting up instead. I was gonna say they could go for a full heal. But yeah, they knew Devil was gonna expect that. So they have split up, and now they've gained quite some distance from where Devil expected them to be. Lauren closing in on the rescue, possibly. Unfortunately, does Devil spot him? No, Devil does not spot him, surprisingly. Um, yeah, just Devil doing pretty good here. Norin is here for the rescue. Will he make it though? No, unfortunately gets stopped. And now, oh, no prospector down. Merc is also here for the rescue. So Merc coming in and will be getting down, but he does also have self-heal. But yeah, that's a guaranteed entomologist elimination. And as I said before, very strong 4K potential. Prospector is in the area. Will not be supporting. Yeah, rather just hide, you know. You see that Cypher jiggle? I don't think it's far enough along. It is not far enough along for it to jiggle, but um, he does have that tinnitus to know that Norton is hiding somewhere. So as long as he gets this, he again, this is why hiding is one of the greatest things in the game. You, unfortunately, yeah, Prospector did great at hiding, but panics and gets out of his hiding spot. And Merc using up that self heal just as Devil wants, probably. So as long as Merc just gets downed here, Devil should be all set for a 4K. Just needs to respike and yeah, get the snap off. Possibly, yeah. Okay, now there we go. We'll see down here on the Merc. And yeah, they surrendered. That's 4K by Devil here. Interesting enough, he did end up getting that 4K as Wheel on Leo's memory. So I have to congratulate Team Pixis and Devil here. Doing a great job managing these survivors who unfortunately tried their best but couldn't handle the pressure against a breaking wheel, especially in a comp like that. But yeah, great job by Devil here. And well played by the survivors as well. Did the best they could in their situation they ended up being in. 10 psychologists did get stuck in that corner, unfortunately. Which was one of the great plays Devil decided to make here. So a lot of missteps by the survivors. And now it is a score of 1-13. So yeah, I do think LE needs to get all their, or not all their survivors. I think their hunter needs to get a 4K elimination, right? To continue. Um, but yeah, well played by both sides here. Unfortunately, BX just prevailing a little further than these survivors. Yep, and as as said here, the hunter of LE does need to get another 4K in order to advance to a round 3. So we may just see another hermit pick come out, or he may just be banned, and we could see an opera come out possibly. Really. But really, all PX needs is a tie, which is probably the safest thing they can get. And honestly, PX just needs one survivor out to win the series. So as long as PX plays a safe game here, decoding and just kiting against their hunter well, PX should be able to have this in the bag. But yeah, LE, a lot of pressure on their shoulders, a lot of stress for the hunter. And we will be getting into the picks and bans for the possible final match of this matchup. And yeah, they're hunter banning priestess and cheerleader. Priestess, of course, always getting banned. She's just too strong to be allowed into a kind of situation like this, honestly. Because priestess is just a really good character to play. That's why you see her get banned so much in all sorts of tournaments. But cheerleader, an interesting ban as well. She can navigate her way throughout um the maps here very efficiently. PX deciding to pick two survivors and they pick Embalmer and Toy Merchant. Yeah, as the survivors were banned last round, Embalmer being their global ban and Toy Merchant being banned off Leo's memory in general, they will be picking them instead. So they are playing quite the safe game here with Embalmer, who can set up that coffin in, factory. And Toy Merchant also has those talking too fast. Toy Merchant also has those catapults to set up around the area of factory, especially around those stairs, which is probably her strongest area to set up those catapults in. And yeah, PX decided to go for that Hermit ban here. They want to make sure that this hunter is not allowed to play Hermit because last time he did play Hermit, they did unfortunately get three man, but they were in the situation where they could have gotten a very good result out of it, possibly a three man elimination for the Hermit. But yeah, they know that this hunter does end up specializing in that Hermit, so they will end up removing him. And the hunter banning female dancer. Again, a strong survivor who can support where their box is. And honestly, it's a reasonable ban. You can place your boxes anywhere and just help the survivors no matter where you place it. You place it in a pallet, it helps the survivors. Because in a match like this, you are probably going to have to rotate a lot, especially when you want to play a safe game and you don't want your survivors to get hit as much. So you're gonna want that dancer if you were the survivors, but Hermit or not Hermit, because Hermit got banned. But the hunter banning off that dancer. And PX going for a forward pick here. I do believe we will see that same lawyer player on forward. I do remember them specializing in the forward character. So LE will be banning an acrobat here. So this is interesting. They've decided to go for an acrobat ban. I have no idea who they could be playing. They may very well just be playing opera, but honestly, it's all up to this hunter to decide which direction they want to take this. Do they want to risk it by playing a hunter who can be a tie hunter and possibly 4K, or are they just gonna play their heart out and just gamble it at all? And PX picking a barmaid up. Yeah, barmaid again, a strong survivor to play. And even if that barmaid, or not barmaid, but hermit is off of the table for the hunter, they will still choose to implement that barmaid into their team comp. So we do have PX here having to lock in the personas for the survivors. And I think this time around we may see more of a aggressive builds here possibly. Many of them may just be carrying flywheel and windows. I don't see any potential tide carriers except for forward and possibly even toy merchant. But we may just see full flywheel and powered or broken windows. And yeah, here comes the personas coming in. They will all be carrying flywheel there, except for the toy merchant who is carrying that tide. Um, it's always good to have a tide, honestly. But yeah, are carrying all flywheel. So again, an aggressive comp to play. And we do have two survivors without borrowed time as well. The barmaid and embalmer. Embalmer always usually not forced to take borrowed time. But barmaid, very interesting to see that the barmaid goes for a suicide build as well. And their LE's Hunter Lock coming in very shortly. Taking some time to decide. And yeah, he's going back to back with the wheel play. Um, Hunter here returning them the favor by playing wheel, but don't know how much it's gonna work against this comp, honestly. Although you do have the breaking wheel who can catch up to these survivors, you have the embalmer who can just soften away and stall time. Toy merchant gains distance as well. So it does seem breaking wheel may be very good against this comp, but if these survivors play well enough, they may, in their own right, be able to win the series as well. So it's interesting to see this hunter return the favor with wheel, especially when these survivors all have flywheel, and two of them are not carrying borrowed time. So again, good luck to both teams. And we may see a possible round three or a possible end to the series. Oh, looks like they did end up running into an issue. Yeah, I was. Hmm, does look like our match won't be starting soon. They did end up running into some issues, but um, the match will be back in a sec. Let me just. Yeah. You should. Okay, you can invite me back now. And now we are getting into the match with the spawns. They are choosing to go the same formation as the Survivor's last match. I'm putting that toy merchant in middle. Good decision. She can set up her catapult. And Bomber, of course, going factory for the coffin. Barmaid going shack just because you don't want to run the chance of her being in the open when she gets a kite, possibly. Although it is a breaking wheel, so being in the open would help a little. But yeah, Ford being spawned out in that open instead. So it's gonna be very interesting to see who their hunter decides to go after. Our match starting off already transforming into that wheel, and actually, interesting enough, deciding to go after that embalmer in factory, who has not set up his coffin yet, and he will get that spike through the window. But yeah, forced to transform out to vault that window, of course. And now it does look like they are just waiting on a catapult. Embalmer's spawning his coffin down near the stairs of factory. But Embalmer will make it to that catapult. Yeah, he does make it to that catapult. And now this is a strong kite for the Embalmer here. I would just switch off if I was the breaking wheel. Yeah, switches off. And he does see the employee merchant here. Does not get a spike off, unfortunately. But will now. And yeah, Embalmer will probably have to remove those spikes himself. But this toy merchant here just kiting out in the open, as you usually should against a breaking wheel. But yeah, it ends up getting hit with a second spike. Although she did have that. Oh, I forgot she can't use her items. I was gonna say she did have that perfume, but she does a flywheel up here. No, I forget. She is tied. Yeah. Um. Fortunately, chasing the only survivor without flywheel. But survivors off to a decent start here. Already finished one cipher, and they even I don't know who may come for the rescue. Barmaid getting hit here. Breaking Wheel struggling around this little box area. And she does have that snap available. There is no blink on this Breaking Wheel either. They are carrying excitement. But unfortunately, the Barmaid ends up getting downed here. And now Ford is making his way over to rescue, but Breaking Wheel will beat him to it. He also does have excitement, so Ford does have to be wary of that. Not getting an early spike off here. Ford doing a good job at avoiding the spike. Yeah, we'll end up getting spiked. And flywheels that protrude as well. A good job on the forward here. Getting the rescue off. Unfortunately, crouches. And probably a misstep there. Oh, gets the excitement off, and forward will end up taking a hit here instead. Yeah, this is looking like a good situation for this breaking wheel. And although they do have those three ciphers, forward here is only just a spike away. So he when he needs to get spike, yeah, he gets a spike off, and that snap is back. So there goes that. A quick down right after Toy Merchant gets eliminated. PX struggling a little bit here. Um, Unfortunately, the only person with Tide not getting drops the forward. Yeah, he sees that it's two ciphers left, and now he's going on the offensive and just attacking the ciphers instead. I think this is a good play here by the breaking wheel. Deciding to attack the ciphers instead of cheering that forward, leaving that forward to be forced to use the self heal. Good flywheel by the barmaid. Unfortunately, does get hit here because of that trap, and now she will be a chip away if this breaking wheel does not get a down. But yeah, just hits that barmaid, forces her to use her drink, and then leaves instead. That probably was the better decision. I did not end up seeing that way, but yeah, that does look like the smarter decision here. Will he find this forward hiding in the corner? Might no, he doesn't. He ends up seeing that Embalmer who is going towards the cipher, but cannot decode it because he is being chased. Gets the spike through the wall. Will he get this protrude out? Embalmer flywheels out of the range. Those are all the flywheels now. He does know that these survivors all have flywheel. So Embalmer has to, or not Embalmer, but Breaking has to be careful as to how he plays this out. Will he end up switching back onto the cipher? Yeah, does end up going back. Does he know where the survivors are healing? He might. Yeah, you can't see them. And unfortunately, they end up getting that heal off, and now Ford is he flywheels the spike again. Really tough for this breaking here, honestly. Having to deal with 3 flywheels at the end game, but these survivors aren't making any decent progress on their ciphers. One cipher is at 50, the barmaid cipher, but Embalmer here does have the chance of going down. So, yeah, gets that snap, of course. And he does have his coffin to work with, but yeah, he stops the Embalmer from using that coffin. That is what he's doing, actually. I just noticed. Yeah, carries the Embalmer, drops him, just so he can't use his coffin. But this forward here is 1 chip away, but he does have his football to use. Will he use his football to get out? No, he doesn't. Yeah, now he will. Okay. Yeah, I would have thought he did run the risk of snap, but this four doing good at keeping a timer on that snap cooldown, but it was up then, so for getting snapped here. And now they are sitting at 1 cipher that is 50%, but it is the Embalmer cipher in the corner. Fortunately, these 2 ciphers on this side of the map actually are pretty high in percentage, but not much. Again, another flywheel pulled out. Really aggravating for this breaking wheel here. Struggling against flywheel, but good trap there to down the Embalmer. And Embalmer, yeah, he's just gonna keep hitting that Embalmer. Bro. And yeah, Embalmer does not have self heal to use. And Ducky the barmaid getting chased here. Possibly gonna get another spike. Yeah, it does spike, but has a perfume. Unfortunately, the protrude ends up getting out. She tries to flywheel the trap, but ends up missing it. So unfortunate play there on the barmaid, who does not end up getting rid of that trap and end up getting down by it rather. But yeah, Ford does have to heal up this Bomber, which is looking like big trouble here. Again, another breaking wheel returning a 4K favor. A misstep on the flywheel, unfortunately. And he does get both snaps off. So now, this Embalmer's just gonna have to probably bleed. He might just leave this Embalmer to bleed out. Yeah, but yeah, he gets the chair, and now they're all on chairs, so this is a 4K elimination. Great job here, done by the Hunter. Really helping their team out. Um, yeah, this is did not expect this at all. They played a really good comp against this breaking wheel, but breaking wheel ultimately just playing a bit higher, playing a step forward, especially even when he had all these flywheels to deal with. They just ended up making too many mistakes endgame. And the big change of that match was just the breaking her deciding to go aggressive that one moment there, going after that barmaid and forcing her to use the drink up, leaving her at 1 chip as well. Yeah. Great job. Well played by both teams. And we will be seeing a round three, I believe. And yeah, LE going for a substitution, subbing out one of their survivors for another survivor. So honestly, we could very well see the potential of a great comeback here from LE, but as of now, it's a round three, so all cards are on the table for both teams. These teams are going to have to play out to their heart's content. So yeah, LE banning a map, and it will be the ban of Lakeside. And PX picking that Ever Sleeping. Very interesting. Again, Breaking Wheel does also work very well on Ever Sleeping. So we could just see another Breaking Wheel match here. Yeah, it depends all on how much these teams are willing to risk to get that win. Again, great job by LE there. LE's Hunter securing a round three for their team with that Breaking Wheel, of course, against a comp that was probably meant to be against that Breaking Wheel. And they also ended up carrying all Flywheel as well. So just great job on the Hunter. We do have global bans for the PX survivors, which will be Merc, Patient, Toy Merchant, and Balmer, all global banned. So those are some pretty strong survivors to be rolled off for PX here. And at least Hunter going for the Priestess and Dancer ban again. Again. they did pick a map that Dancer does work relatively well on. Ever Sleeping, as we saw from yesterday's matchup around, I think yesterday's last matchup, we did see that Dancer on Ever Sleeping, and had helped a lot for that team. So it does make sense to ban the Dancer again. But again, Priestess being banned on another map that also works well for her. So it's very sensible bans, of course. We do have two Hunter bans on the table since it is round 3 as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see who they decide to ban. They may just go for the ban on Herbert and Breaking Wheel. They know just how dangerous this Hunter can be with it. EX on the clock here for picking their two survivors and their two Hunter Banes. So really thinking hard because they now are in a situation where they could face a very severe comeback from LE. And they do go for a Psychologist and Forward Lock. So those will be their global bans if this does end up becoming a round 4. And we see a Wheel and Wax Artist ban. So Wheel, just of course from that last match, they knew how threatening Wheel could be. So of course they're gonna ban that Hunter. And they're gonna ban Wax Artist, of course. It just is annoying the Hunter to play against on maps like Ever Sleeping and Moonlit. So since this is Ever Sleeping, and there is many things Wax Artist has a chance of shooting over, they will end up going for a Wax ban as well. And yeah, very interesting to see the Psychologist and Forward Lock, since yeah, LE does have the chance to ban one of their survivors now. LE going for the Acrobat ban again. We have seen this Hunter ban ban out the Acrobat before, and I do believe that was when they did play Hermit. So we may just see another Hermit match here from this Hunter. Hopefully a redemption match for them as well, since they did end up getting 3-manned in their first Hermit match during round 1. And PX locking in a cheerleader. Very interesting, considering we haven't really seen a cheerleader all match, but who knows what they could be up to, honestly, because it's their map pick and they've decided to go with this comp, Psychologist Forward cheerleader. This may be just a bit of an offensive comp because we have the forward who can harass and you have the cheerleader supporting. So um definitely makes sense for for PX to lock in these type of survivors. LE banning the coordinator out of their comp. This is quite a shocking ban, actually. So they may very well just be playing Hermit. They might consider that Hermit. And I honestly don't know what else they could pick. Although they do. I forgot Opera Singer is available to them. Uh, that's P us. Whoa. Okay. PX deciding to lock in Mind's Eye here. What an interesting lock. I'm just very shocked by this. Picking Mind's Eye, a survivor who's been left behind in the dust for ages, just because of how weak of a kiter she is. Although she does have good, very, very good solo decoding, um, that all becomes a mess when you gotta decode with other survivors. And yeah, I don't know. PX picking Mind's Eye. Um, PX will be locking in personas for carrying Tide this time. Psychologist will be carrying borrowed or not. Okay. Broken windows, not borrowed windows. Okay, broken windows for that speed boost. And Ento carrying flywheel again. And of course, Mind's Eye not carrying borrowed time, knowing she is most likely going to be that first chase. So they will be putting broken windows and flywheel on her. And their hunter going for a night watch pick. Very, yeah, I'm looking forward to this actually. We haven't seen night watch get used much since Opera Singer came out, and now we've seen much more hunters like Anne and Gamekeeper and uh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But I was gonna say we've been seeing hunters like Opera, Gamekeeper, and in their in more official tournaments like Koa, of course. But it's gonna be interesting to see this Night Watch come into fruition here. So yeah, we have our match starting very shortly. So gonna be very interesting to see how their team composition plays against this Night Watch. And again, throughout this very long matchup, I have been your only commentator. Ainsy again. Go by any pronouns, so call me whatever you want. And yeah, it's been very exciting to commentate their match. We are getting into spawns here. Um, very, very basic spawn actually. You have the psychologist spawning on one's in terms of how it looks on my screen, the left side of the map. Cheerleader spawning in middle, and that forward spawning around that two-story area. Of course, they decide to put that mind's eye in graveyard. So honestly, I would actually go after that mind's eye. And yeah, mind's eye using that cane immediately. So Night Watch should be able to tell where she is. And he does also see this forward who is available to chase as well. So no, yeah, no. Yeah, he will end up actually chasing this mind's eye. And basement is also in graveyard too. So if he can end up keeping this mind's eye within graveyard, that could be nice for him to get a chair in basement. Mind's eye just camping out towards the back here. And yeah, does not want to spend too much time trying to find that mind's eye. So Ford is here to chase. But he does not want to chase that forward, of course, knowing that he could just football away. And will be going after the cheerleader in middle anyway. Cheerleader getting to this area. Very interesting area for Night Watch. Good cheer there, avoiding that hit. Will be slowed down in the open here. Not much he can do. Flywheels? Yeah, good flywheel to get to the pallet. And now he's in the pallet. Good job. Good plays here by the cheerleader, honestly. Making her way towards that pallet, knowing she has flywheel to work with. Almost jukes at that hit as well. And ends up getting that pallet stun off. So now this Night Watch just has his dashes to work with, honestly. He does not have Blink to work with. And does not end up getting that hit over the pallet, unfortunately. And I will get stuck on this object here, and the cheerleader in a very strong area. Looking around, going back to this previous area, throwing down the pallet, and just putting a stop on this Night Watch. Cheerleader has another cheer to use, and she does use it. This cheerleader is doing a very good job kiting out this Night Watch. Not getting baited out there. Eventually will be getting down here. We have forward here, but you know, he will end up using excitement. Yep, gets the hit off here, as expected, and now Psychologist will probably have to heal up that forward, since forward does have Tide. Mind's Eye is here, so we could see, maybe even somehow possible rescue. Like this. Um, this Night Watch getting a little tunnel vision on the Mind's Eye, so forward will make it to the chair safely. He does not have the wind to work with, and it's so right before half rescue, and he also gets the stun off. Good recovery by the forward, who previously got hit. Does it really, unfortunately, does not use his football to get away fast enough. But this cheerleader has gained some significant distance away, and unfortunately cuts back through her middle saber, so people cannot decode it just yet. But yeah, good job by this gatekeeper. Unfortunately, gets hit over that window. Uh, just, um, just just a matter of not vaulting that fast enough. So not much she could have done there, but this cheerleader doing good for her team. And now they have one cipher left as well. We may have seen a switch on the teleport here. Psychologist getting found early, getting cut off. So this could be a big changer in this game. This thing gets hit at the pallet. And now she has to make this rescue. Unfortunately, he uses that teleport to get back to the chair. And now cheerleader is going to be eliminated from the game. This is a big changer for the survivors here. And now he's just looking out for Cypher's shaking. Yeah, he's going onto that mind's eye. Ford is around here to heal that psychologist. Mind's eye with a possible pop? He does not go that way, knowing that the pallet might be thrown down. Yeah, she ends up getting that pop off, and now she has all these pallets to work with, especially against the Night Watch with 0 dashes. He does have that win back. Unfortunately, throws it on the wrong side. Or maybe she meant to throw it that side. I think she meant to throw it that side and hopefully boost away. Almost close tram hit. But yeah, Ford does have around 50% football, so he may be able to stun. Does not look like they will get this gate open. Yeah, they won't get this gate open time. And now Manza has to heal up and hopefully open the other gate. Otherwise, yeah, his teleport is back up in 30 seconds. So this isn't looking like the best situation for the survivors. Yeah, really just not much to say as of now. You have the mindset on that gate, but Ford just kind of remaining still around here. He does end up using that teleport, and now Ford has to get that rescue off before this Mind's Eye gets down. Because we know Mind's Eye does. Yeah, that Mind's Eye came coming into clutch actually. Slowing down that interaction speed, slowing down the pallet break. So delaying a lot of time for the Mind's Eye to hopefully go down this pallet. Yeah, Mind's Eye doing a great recovery kite here. Unfortunately, he walks up those stairs, gets stuck a little bit, stutters here. Mind's Eye playing a good mind game, and the survivors will. Oh, and Dungeon is also here as well, so they did have the chance for the Mind's Eye to get Dungeon, but yeah. So no, okay. I was about to say, I was Nightwatch might have started lagging there, so Mind's Eye could have made it to Dungeon, but yeah, he was just waiting for the surrender. And that's a tie for both sides. Both sides still in their previous situation. So good job by the Night Watch here. Um Doing good. Had many chances to well, not many chances. Sorry, I'm talking about the wrong stuff. But this Night Watch had a great comeback and recovery from that situation he was in. Being able to spot that psychologist from far away and cut off a rescue was that big turning point in this match. And could have ultimately led to a possible 4K even if he could have found that forward and downed her. Or not downed her, downed him. Survivors doing good to keep up their lead. And yeah, although Ellie's Hunter did a great job at coming back from their humongous deficit from round 1 to round 2. Um, Ellie cannot make a comeback, so this is a win on PX's side with a score of 8-15. Honestly, um, LE not doing the best during that round 1. Um, Having that score of 8-1, but they did end up clutching it back when their hunter got that 4K with the breaking wheel round 2. And I think as long as they could have secured a 3-man or a 4-man here, which they did have a good chance of doing, Unfortunately, they cannot recover from their deficit. So this is a win in Pixis's favor, and PX is moving off to the playoffs, and Ellie going into the lower brackets. Again, GG's to all teams, especially to that cheerleader during that match. Definitely one of the MVPs there, doing a great kite in all areas. But unfortunately, although both teams did play at their very top best, the uh, the survivors and hunter of PX just ended up coming out on top instead. So well played to both teams, and we will see PX come into that playoffs. All right, and again, I enjoyed being their commentator for this matchup. So that will be the end of this stream and this matchup in general. So yeah, with all said, all done. I hope everybody has a good day, and yeah, see you next time.